Real estate can be a great investment to earn passive income. After all you have to do is to collect rent checks, right? That's at least the perception online if you read some comments on real estate investing, but the reality is quite different, and if you've ever owned a rental property, you'll be able to attest to that. Each new property investment can take 100 or 200 hours or even more, even before they start cash flowing. You first have to educate yourself on the local market, you have to meet brokers, you have to tour properties, make offers, negotiate, secure financing, do renovations, meet tenants, do background checks, have lawyers draft contracts. It's really a lot more work than people imagine. And even once you have a tenant in place, you still have to deal with occasional tenant disputes, vacancies, maintenance issues, renovations, repairs, insurance claims, and so on. The work truly never ends, and this is not real passive income. Luckily, there's a better way to invest in properties, and that's through REITs. REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust, and many of them are publicly listed, allowing you to invest in rental properties just like you would invest in any other industry through the purchase of stock. Best of all, most REITs are today internally managed and very large in size, resulting in significant economies of scale. According to studies, the average management cost of REITs is only about 50 basis points of assets per year, which is about 2 to 3 times lower than the management cost of private properties. As such, REITs really combine the best of both worlds, of stocks and real estate, removing all the downsides of real estate investments. They are professionally managed, cost efficient, diversified, liquid, you enjoy limited liability, and many other benefits. And most importantly, they generate significant true passive income. I just added it up, and 10 of my REIT investments are today generating $3,000 of monthly passive dividend income from a roughly $690,000 investment, and I'm going to review all of those REITs in today's video. Hey, this is Yossi, I run a small investment firm that specializes in REIT investing, and before I dig into all of these REITs, I want to remind you that we just recently launched my new book, The REIT Advantage. It has already sold nearly 600 copies. It's now available on Amazon. It has a foreword from the CEO of Vici Properties. It has received praise from many other REIT CEOs, including Agri Realty as an example, which is one of my favorite net lease REITs. There will be a link in the description if you want to check it out. Thank you very much for your support. Okay, the first REIT I'm going to discuss is called Vesta REIT, ticker symbol VTMX. It's today only offering a 2.6% dividend yield, but still generates a lot of income for me because this is a very large position and my yield on cost is quite a bit higher at closer to 4%. Even then, the yield is not particularly high, and that's simply because the REIT is retaining most of its cash flow. It's retaining about 2/3 of it to keep reinvesting in growth. Vesta is the leading industrial REIT in Mexico and enjoys great investment opportunities as there is rapidly growing demand for industrial space in Mexico due to the nearshoring trend, and Vesta is able to develop new properties with initial yields in the double digits. This creates a lot of value for its shareholders, and the REIT has guided to grow its FFO per share by roughly 10% annually through 2030. What this means is that my yield on cost could reach closer to 5% already in the near term, and I think that patience will be richly rewarded here. Vesta is my biggest Latin American REIT investment, and I expect to keep it this way. Secondly, I want to discuss Vonovia, which is one of my biggest European REIT investments, ticker symbol VNA. It's the leading landlord in Europe, owning over 500,000 units, primarily in Germany, and it's currently offering a 5.5% dividend yield, and that's with a very low payout ratio of just about 55%. Because of how rents are regulated in Germany, the REIT is enjoying highly consistent and predictable 3 to 4% rental growth each year. This growth remains steady even through the great financial crisis and the pandemic. What this means is that its assets are much safer and less cyclical than comparable apartment communities in markets like the US. And this explains why its assets are so popular in the private market, commonly selling at cap rates below 4%. But because listed European real estate companies are out of favor, Vonovia is today trading at a 50% discount to its net asset value, resulting in a much higher yield. Its cash flow yield is closer to 11%, and the REIT pays out about half of that in the form of dividends while reinvesting the rest in growth. I think that this presents a true historic opportunity to invest in German apartment communities at a steep discount with a much higher yield than you could achieve in the private market. The third REIT I'm going to discuss is Crown Castle, ticker symbol CCI. It's the highest yielding of the cell tower REITs, currently offering a roughly 5% dividend yield. That's far more than its close peers American Tower and SBA Communications are today offering. Generally, a higher yield implies that the REIT owns weaker and riskier assets. However, this is not the case here. Crown Castle is actually the only cell tower REIT that focuses exclusively on the US market, which is safer than many of those emerging markets in which SBA and American Tower are investing. I think that the higher yield is largely the result of Crown Castle's discounted valuation and its recent transformation, which has been overlooked by the market. Just for context, Crown Castle used to own a lot of fiber assets and had a balance sheet that was more heavily leveraged than its peers, and this caused it to trade at a discount. However, the REIT recently got rid of those assets, used the proceeds to pay off a lot of debt, buy back shares, and I think that this will eventually be reflected in its valuation. It could take time for the market sentiment to change, but while I wait, I'm earning a solid dividend yield. Fourth, Alexandria Real Estate, ticker symbol ARE. This REIT recently slashed its dividend by 40%, and despite that, it's still one of my biggest income earners, unfortunately, because I was heavily invested in the stock prior to the cut, and I have bought more of it since then. Following its crash and its dividend cut, the company is still offering a 6.2% dividend yield, and that's with a very low 40% payout ratio. That's simply because valuation is extremely cheap today. The life science property sector is extremely oversupplied today, and that's a combination of two things. There was too much speculative development following the pandemic, and all of this supply still today gradually hitting the market. And secondly, the policy chaos of the Trump administration has completely destroyed the demand for life science property sectors. They've gone on a full attack of the life science industry with regular threats of tariffs, price control, funding cuts, and so on. And as a result, understandably, life science companies have cut down their investments in research and development, directly hurting a REIT like Alexandria. It's a big setback, and it explains why the stock of the company has crashed. However, I remain very optimistic about the long term, and that's why I remain invested, especially since the valuation is very low. Ultimately, the world's population continues to age at a rapid pace, even as 90% plus of the known 10,000 plus diseases don't have a proper treatment, and I expect the AI revolution to unleash a new golden age of healthcare innovation, greatly accelerating research, even as it also breaks barriers to entry, and I expect this to lead to an explosion in new biotech company formation. This is going to take time to play out, but I think that 5 years out from now, the market sentiment and narrative will be very different. I think that it will have gone from extreme oversupply and very depressed fundamentals into Alexandria being perceived as an AI winner, and this could lead to huge upside. While I wait, I'm earning a 6.2% dividend yield. Fifth, HA Sustainable Infrastructure, ticker symbol HASI. It's not officially structured as a REIT anymore. It used to be a REIT, but it has in recent years decided to de-REIT, so transform itself into a C Corp in order to have more flexibility in how it runs its business, retains cash flow, but essentially remains a REIT-like entity that's mostly lending capital towards renewable energy projects. And there's a lot of need for this capital now, especially as the AI revolution requires a lot of electricity. The company has guided to grow its FFO per share by 8 to 10% annually over the coming years, even as it's still offering a 4.5% dividend yield. I think the combination of this yield and this growth is likely to continue to result in double-digit total returns, plus a bit of upside potentially, and this is why I hold a large position in this company. Next, I want to discuss my biggest Canadian REIT investment, which is Canadian Net REIT, ticker symbol NET.UN. It's today offering a near 6% dividend yield with a very low 55% payout ratio. That's one of the highest yield with one of the lowest payout ratio combinations in the entire net lease sector, and that's quite attractive on its own. For context, its larger peers like Realty Income are offering closer to a 5% dividend yield with a higher payout ratio of closer to 70%. And the reason why Canadian Net REIT is offering this higher yield with this lower payout ratio is simply that it's trading at a lower FFO multiple. It's today priced at just about 10 times FFO, and that's despite enjoying faster long-term growth prospects in my opinion, because it's a much smaller REIT, it uses more leverage and focuses on Canada. It's the only net lease REIT that's operating in Canada, has much lower competition. This is resulting in bigger spreads of its cost of capital, given that cap rates are about the same level in Canada despite much lower interest rates, and ultimately this has historically allowed the REIT to grow its dividend by about 8% annually, so about 2 times faster than its American peers like Realty Income, and I expect this to continue to result in significant outperformance over the long run, which is why I hold a large position in this REIT. Now we return to Europe, and more specifically to the UK. I want to discuss Big Yellow Group, ticker symbol BYG, and this is my largest self-storage REIT. It's currently offering a 5% dividend yield, and it's resulting in significant income because I have accumulated position in this REIT ever since Brexit. So for about 10 years now I've been buying the dips in this REIT. And the story is simple here. The European self-storage market is still in its early days. There's about 10 to 20 times less storage space per capita in Europe than in the US, even as the concept is now growing in popularity because you have the same demand drivers in Europe: death, divorce, relocation, the need to make space for home office, and many other factors. And Europeans live in even smaller homes than in the US. So the concept now is growing in popularity, and these REITs like Big Yellow are able to bring some supply to the market with very large initial yields in the the near double digit, resulting in large spreads of their cost of capital. I expect this to lead to strong FFO per share growth over the long run, which coupled with this 5% dividend yield and some upside from its closing its discount to NAV should lead to very attractive total returns. The REIT also has a very strong balance sheet with just a 13% LTV. So overall, I think the risk reward is very compelling, which is why I invest so heavily in it. Back to the US, now we discuss my highest yielding REIT investment in my entire portfolio, which is NewLake Capital Partners, ticker symbol NLCP. It's today offering a 12% dividend yield. And the reason why the yield is so high is not because the REIT is over leveraged or that its payout ratio is unsustainable. On the contrary, the REIT has a payout ratio in the low 80s. It has no debt. It's net cash positive, which is very unique for a REIT. And it has managed to grow its dividend in each year since going public. The reason why the yield is so high is because the REIT focuses on cannabis cultivation facilities, which is one of the highest cap rate property sector that exists, with cap rates commonly in the double digits. And this is simply because it's a riskier property sector. There's a bit of stigma because it's a sin industry. There's not much capital going around, and so naturally capital is more expensive. There are also more frequent lease defaults. Tenants are weaker. NewLake has itself faced some tenant issues and even currently has some tenants not paying their rent in full and on time. And so this explains the higher yield. However, I think that NewLake has done a great job at mitigating the risks as good as it could. It focuses on limited license states with higher barriers to entry, with typically stronger operators with large scale, and importantly, it has no debt, as I mentioned earlier, putting it in a strong position to negotiate with tenants if and when issues arise. Importantly to the thesis, the Trump administration has noted that they are planning to reclassify cannabis as a less dangerous Schedule III drug, and this should greatly improve the fundamentals of cannabis companies by giving them better access to capital, also reducing their effective tax rates, and this should reduce future lease issues and help the market sentiment of a REIT like NewLake Capital Partners. Ultimately, it's mostly an income investment. I think that the 12% dividend yield, while riskier than your average REIT, is still sustainable and should even grow over the long run. It's not as big of an investment for me as many of the other REITs that I've listed here. However, because the yield is so high, it's still generating significant passive income. Next, we go in the healthcare property sector, and this is my biggest healthcare real estate investment in terms of the income it generates me, and it's called Sila Realty Trust, ticker symbol SILA. The REIT focuses primarily on medical office buildings, rehab centers, and surgical facilities, all leased on a triple net basis with average remaining lease terms of 10 years, 2% rent escalations. Tenants are responsible for all property expenses, as is common with the triple net structure, and so this is resulting in highly consistent and predictable cash flow. Its tenants are very profitable with rent coverage ratios of about 5 times, and they should benefit from the aging population, and so I like this property sector. The REIT has low leverage as well. Its debt to EBITDA is only about 4 times. That's 30%-ish LTV, so it has capacity to take on new debt to acquire even more properties and grow its FFO and dividend per share. Yet the REIT is today offered at a 6.4% dividend yield with a low 70% payout ratio. So again, very attractive combination of a higher yield, steady growth, and potentially some upside. I think that what the market has overlooked here is that the balance sheet is under leverage, and this should lead to faster growth than it's currently expecting over the coming years. Finally, BSR REIT, ticker symbol HOM.U. This is my biggest residential REIT investment in the US, and so it's generating significant passive income, which by the way is paid on a monthly basis and typically classified as return of capital, meaning that it's not taxed as ordinary income. It's not taxed at all, in fact, it just reduces your cost basis. And today the dividend yield is 4.7%, and I expect the dividend to return to growth over the coming years. What you should know here is that the REIT focuses on the Texas triangle of Dallas, Austin, and Houston. These markets are expected to enjoy some of the best population and job growth over the long run, even as their rent to income ratios are still far below that of gateway markets. However, they suffered in recent years from oversupply that resulted from the pandemic era when interest rates were very low. People were relocating a lot. This led to a lot of speculative development, and so some of this supply was hitting the market in 2024, 2025. Even in 2026, still going to remain a transition year with stagnating rents, but growth is expected to strongly accelerate in 2027, 2028, and with that I also expect the dividend to return to growth. Yet the REIT is today heavily discounted, trading at a 30% discount to its net asset value, and so I really like the story. These are the exact type of real estate investments that I like to target for my portfolio. They're professionally managed, enjoy significant economies of scale that I couldn't achieve on my own. I get true passive income, I enjoy significant diversification. These are liquid as well. I enjoy limited liability. I never receive a call from tenants in the middle of the night, and ultimately I expect them to outperform most private real estate investments, given that again they enjoy these economies of scale, they enjoy faster growth as they're able to also pursue external growth projects. Finally, importantly, in terms of total total returns, I expect them to be more rewarding simply because they're trading at large discount to their net asset values, which is highly unusual for REITs. Historically, during most time periods, they're trading at a small premium, which makes sense when you think of it because you're getting real estate exposure with the added benefits of liquidity, diversification, professional management, and so on. Eventually, as REITs regain in popularity, I expect the discounts to turn back into premiums, resulting in significant upside. In some REITs I discussed today, they could enjoy 30, 50, even up to 100% upside. A REIT like Alexandria could triple and still would be far away from where it traded at just a few years ago before this REIT bear market began. But these 10 REITs are just examples. In total, I own about 50 plus REITs when including foreign REITs as part of my portfolio. And if you want to access my full portfolio, you can join us at High Yield Landlord for a 2-week free trial. There will be a link in the description of this video. You won't be charged anything in the first 2 weeks. You can just come in, check the portfolio, check our research, our exclusive REITs interviews. If it's not for you, you can cancel, no questions asked. Thank you very much for your interest in my video and see you at my next one. Bye-bye.